Welcome to Joy of Business with host Simone Milasas, a dynamic business leader with a difference. Simone has founded and operated many businesses from a young age and has always done business differently. Today, Simone is the worldwide coordinator of Access Consciousness and travels the world presenting Joy of Business programs using Access tools and empowering people to know that they can create business in a different way and make money doing it. Simone Milasas, weekly on Om Times Radio.
Hi everybody, welcome. Simone Milasas here. I'm actually in my bed in Peregian Beach in Australia doing yet another pre-record because the Australian internet is not up to doing anything live where I live. And I apologise, but I haven't been able to do a fresh pre-record for you for a little while. I actually have been in hospital having major surgery, which is pretty interesting thing to recover from. And why I'm mentioning it too is because I'd love to talk to you about how do you run your business as well. Still, joyfully, when you are recovering from surgery, it's definitely giving all the staff the big green light to do what they know. So I want to talk about that today as well. And I asked the lovely Rebecca Holst from New Zealand, who's sitting in cold Christchurch, I think it's called, to join me today. Welcome, Rebecca.
Hi, Simone.
Now, Rebecca is actually the manager of Joy of Business, so she's probably got more to say about this subject than I do. But so we thought we'd just come on and literally just talk about the business, like the joy of business as you do it every single day. Because the thing is, and it's like with your business, and it's like, I mean, we've given you so many tools if you've been listening to our radio show, and it's like, you can't predict what something is going to look like. You don't know how your day is going to show up. You don't know how your month is going to show up. You don't know how your year is going to show up. It's like you don't even know what staff are going to do or what your boss is going to do or, you know, what your products are going to do or your services. You never know what's going to show up. So it's like, do you always have to be paranoid and prepared for it? Or is there a different way to actually have a look at this? Because one of the ways that we always function from in business is asking questions. And it's like, it's as simple as if something is not showing up the way you thought it was going to show up and you don't have enough information, it's sort of like, okay, so who do I have to talk to here? Like the other day, we're actually working, Rebecca and myself and a couple of other people, with a property in Costa Rica called El Lugar, which means the place. And it means the place because it's a book written by Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness. And if you have never read it, please get it and read it because it is one of the most phenomenal books I've ever read. It's written in a very, very clever way. But what I loved about it was Gary talks about how the world should be, how you should be in relationship to the planet, to other people, to your lover, to insects, to kids, it's like all of it. And it's like, it's got this energy of definitely empowering people to know that they know and being an allowance of others and also acknowledging what other people's capacities are. And that's the way I'd like to live. That's the way I'd actually like to be running a business as well. So, but one of the things with El Lugar, thank you. Well, one of the things with El Lugar is we're meant to be sending out, these, one-page documents for investment because we actually have a list of people who are interested in investing. And I said to Gary the other day, we haven't done it. And I said, I know I don't procrastinate. Like, what else is happening? And it seems to be that the people that we're buying the property off is, they've sort of got these reservations, etc. So it's like, what if it wasn't always you? Like, if you think that it's you that has, is procrastinating, what if it wasn't? What if you never procrastinated? What if it was always like asking more questions and have the willingness to have a much bigger awareness of how and when something can show up and when it can show up. I mean, we've got to raise a whole bunch of money to do this. And it's like there's quite a few projects that Access Consciousness has going. And I said to Gary the other day, what if consciousness had our back and was just slightly delaying a few things to make it easier for us? And he said, well, yeah, I think it is. So if you're not going to the wrongness of where you currently are, it's like, what questions could you ask to create a greater future? And everything it doesn't allow you to ask those questions. Yes. Hang on one second. Can you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pocket, pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyond. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Well, and one of the things that you just said that you skimmed over that most of us really don't realize is you said, I know I don't procrastinate. There's something I'm aware of here. And how often have we tried, like, made ourselves wrong for this didn't happen in time, or I missed this deadline, or I couldn't make this happen, but then everything changed anyway. And I think that's been one of the biggest pieces with creating a business, from the joy of it and from the awareness of it, is that you do choose to actually look at these things and ask questions rather than deciding that you're late or that it's not working or that you're going to miss it or that you're going to fail.
Yeah, and even like I just wrote an email to someone too, because they're not really doing their job. And I read it out to Gary and I said, hey, does this sound okay? Because we're taking them off everything and saying, hey, it's pretty obvious that you don't want to do this. So, and he said, it's perfect. And I said, okay, and he said, because you've empowered them, he said, you've said what is, he said, you haven't made them wrong, which I'm not making them wrong. Just because someone doesn't want to do a job anymore doesn't mean they're wrong. But I'm not going to sit there and wait for something, to be so slack and so falling apart before I change it. So I wrote them an email saying, hey, look, I'm changing this part. And what about if we take you off this as well? Because I heard that you're really not interested in doing what you're currently doing. And I know that you're having so much fun traveling around the world doing your own classes. And, you're going to be busy when, XYZ comes up. So it's just like simply stating it, but not actually making anyone wrong. And it's like, what if the joy of business was about change? And everything it doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive the changes that a business is yelling at you for, will you destroy and uncreate it? Time to go through. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. You were going to say something there, Rebecca? Let's talk about change.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially with the different pieces of people not doing things or it's not working out with stuff, like one of the most amazing things, whether you're an owner of a business or if you're an employee, is to look at where you can create and where you don't have to wait. There's actually nothing more annoying to me than having to wait for things. It's very different when I know it's not the time for something, but when I know that I'm just waiting because of whatever, it doesn't even really matter what it is.
I'm laughing because the amount of times that you've had to wait for me to get back to you. But I like what you said. What if you didn't have to wait? What could you create? And you've learned to sort of go, she's really busy on this. I'm going to move on and create something else.
And that's really it. It's actually almost like I've learned how to go around you, not to have to wait to create with what we're doing. So those things that I need your eyes on or your attention on, I leave it there. And then instead of waiting, I go, okay, and what else can I create? And what else can I do? Rather than going, oh, this has to stop until Simone gets back to me. And if you work with busy people, that is pretty much a nightmare because you really have no idea when that's going to be. And do you like to live your life on standby? I know that's something that I definitely don't like to do.
No. So everywhere that you've been putting your life and your business on standby and your money flows and your currency flows, waiting for something or someone else, will you destroy and uncreate it? Times a gazillion.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. If you haven't looked up the clearing statement, you can go to accessjoyofbusiness.com and we've got a section on there on what the clearing statement is about, or you can also go to theclearingstatement.com. It's from Access Consciousness. And it works. You don't have to remember it all. You can just say, pock and pot, all that stuff. Or what was Simone and Rebecca talking about on the radio? Everything that is. Because the thing is, it's about energy. And it's like your business is about energy too. It's like money is about energy. It's like how many of you make business and money significant rather than make it a choice and make it fun? What if business was meant to be fun? Like what if it was meant to be this light subject? And it's like, is it in this reality? No. So what could you change today to create your business to be light and fun? What if it was joyful? What if it wasn't? I mean, if you look at the energy of if someone started, every day and the way you woke up, someone went, right, you have to make me this amount of money today. And it's like, and you have to do this and you have to get this amount of clients and this has to work out properly, and this has to, and it's like all these, demands of telling someone what to do, and it's like, is that fun for you to do? Or would you prefer to someone come play with you and just go, hey, what are you up to? What's happening? What could we create today? What questions could we ask today? What could we choose today? What could we change today? It's like, that's literally how you should be speaking with your business. It's the energy of how you should be with your business. So everything that doesn't allow you to have the lightness of business, truth, where you destroy and uncreate it, times a godzillion. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyond. So we have a few minutes here before the first break, but I wanted to ask you, Rebecca, about the green light, because that is one thing that with the Joy Business, we sort of, I implemented. I think last Christmas, I was like, I can't do this anymore. You guys are all coming at me with everything. And I was like, I'm giving you the green light. Just go ahead and create. Like, it's okay. And you'll know when to ask a question is the way I function. Like, I'm the worldwide coordinator of Access Consciousness. I go and make so many choices and decisions and for Access as a worldwide company, a huge multi-million-dollar global company. And yet there's this weird energy that'll come up and I go, I've got to talk to Gary or Dane. And someone will go, really? And I'm like, yeah, because there's an energy about it, because I don't have a point of view that I know I require some more information from them. And usually, Gary especially, comes from total left field. There's other piece of information that changes everything. And you go, oh, yeah, that's why I had to ask him. And then you move on and create more. So tell me what it's like with you guys and what was it like for you? Because I know you were the one that was just like, woohoo!
It was actually one of the greatest things. You actually gave us this green light thing in June, which is almost like basically about 6 months from now. It's not actually that long ago. Yeah, it wasn't as long ago as you thought. And it was the thing of, really? Can we really choose that much? Can we really create that much? Can we really act that much? However, by the time we got to about 10 choices in, it felt normal, and that energy did come up of, oh, this is the thing I do need to talk about to the team, or this is the thing I do need to talk about to Simone. And it felt really clear, but it did take a few choices to get to there, which we'll talk about more after this.
After the break. We'll be back really soon. You're with Rebecca Holt and Simone Milasas on Joy of Business on Time. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back soon.
What if business could be fun? What if business is the adventure of living? What are you choosing? Where do you do business that makes it easier, more fun, or more joyful for you? We'd love to see where you do business. Connect with us on Instagram at Joy of Business or Twitter at Joy of Business, and share your pictures with hashtags BusinessDoneWhere and Joy of Business. Let's change the world with business. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
The truth is, you can't change the world if you're broke. I know, I tried. Isn't it time you turned your life's calling into a profitable, freedom-based business? I'm Michelle Barr. Join me every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern for Sacred Success.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. The cutting edge of conscious radio, Om Times Radio, IOM FM.
Hi, everybody. We're back, of course, with Simone Milasas and Rebecca Holt, and you're with the Joy Business radio show. So how does it get any better than this? And I'm just having a little giggle because You know what? You've got to be grateful for how you can move, etc. I just had this idea during the break of a book I wanted to get, but because of this major operation I had a hysterectomy and a massive fibroid removed. You don't move very fast. And you're so used to like jumping up and jumping down. I'm like, right, must get off bed, get back on bed and position yourself. Like it's just, you get really grateful for the small things. And one of the things that I'm very, 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 very grateful for is the Joy of Business team. And it's like they have led everything. And it's like, and what I've noticed is that people have sort of stepped up more. It's like when I'm, haven't been able to look at things and I've been down and out sort of thing. And really, like I haven't been that great. I've been sleeping 10 hours and today is the first day that I've sort of, felt much better. And it's like, but you guys have really taken the lead. So we left at the last break with you talking about, the green light. And once you made about 10 choices, it was sort of a lot easier. So what else do you want to say about that, Rebecca?
Yeah, well, I think it's really interesting that you think today is the first day that you've been great, because one of the things that we were trying to do when you were recovering was to not email you and to not talk to you and to not contact you and actually let you have a break, because there's not many chances that you get to do that. So it was this kind of challenge thing, because you would come in and start messaging us and ask what was going on with things, and generally the answer would be, well, this is handled, and well, also this is handled, and okay, so we have a couple of questions about this. But it was the first time that I really saw how much we were really able to generate and create this business as a team without requiring you to be the main source for it. And so for me, that was a target that I've been trying to get to since June. And it was really cool to see that, this is actually a real thing. This is not just a wish or a dream or a target anymore. This is something that we're actually living and creating every day. And that's not something that happened overnight or something that was like, we're going to do this. But it definitely was a really great process that really empowered our entire team to get greater at the things that they desired to be greater at, and to also know that they could handle it on their own.
Yeah, and one of the things when you talk about that, Rebecca, is, my, awareness of where I would like Joy Business is I would like every business in the entirety of the world to be functioning from Access Consciousness tools, which means asking questions, being willing to receive contribution. It's being willing to change things, and it's like, being willing to be a little bit more lenient on yourself and your business and be willing to receive money. It's like not making it significant. And they're asking questions every day, and it's like, but I would like every single business in the world to be functioning from that. Now, if I'm going to control the business and manhandle everything, and it's like, then you can't do that. And it's like, you can't create this massive business. And it's like, I've watched Gary Douglas, let go of things, and people have thought he was crazy and thought that he didn't do business well and all of this sort of stuff. And it's like, and it's created a phenomenal business. There's over 3,000 Access Consciousness facilitators around the world. We're in over, I think it's 173 countries now. And one of the things that he did, which was a brilliant leadership, is one of the body processes that we have in Access is called the bars. And it's about touching 32 different points on your head. And when you touch them, it starts to eliminate the judgments, the thoughts, feelings, and emotions, etc., that you have around things like money, control, which I get no one here listening has any of that, sexuality, bodies, healing, sadness, joy, gratitude, kindness, peace, calm. There's a whole lot of these points, right? And when you touch them, it starts to eliminate all of that. If you have not got your bars run, please check it out and get your bars run. It is just, I don't know what I'd do without it. But what he did at one stage was we had about 200 facilitators worldwide. Now, how many people are in the world? There's billions. And he went, you know what? We have to open this up. So what he decided was to become a bars facilitator, all you had to do was do a bars class with 3 different facilitators, okay? 3 different facilitators. He figured that at least if you went to 3 different facilitators, that at least one of them would know what they were doing, which I think is a great way to look at it, not thinking that because we are opening this up that every person is going to get it. But in truth, you can't really do the bars wrong. So you're going to receive something. And if people all over the world are running bars, then it's going to match the energy of what we'd like to change. I mean, one of the places we're being asked to go to at the moment is Israel, and it's expanding big time. And it's like, that's the energy of changing what we'd like to see in the world. It's like the energy of the book that I was talking to you about, called The Place. So he just let it run loose, and everyone was like, oh my God, we're never going to be able to control the bars facilitators. And we can't. We don't have control of them. And it's like, do we offer them a lot of information? There's regular phone calls, there's regular information, and it's like there's, different classes available, different facilitators to talk to. And, yeah, some of them, just because they're choosing to be a bars facilitator doesn't mean that they're choosing consciousness or doesn't mean that they're conscious. But what's happening is people are getting their bars run all over the world, and that's creating a difference. So he was willing to let that loose. We have, like I said, over 3,000 now. And it's like that was only a few years ago that he decided to do that. So it's like what could happen and what would happen with your business if you were willing to let go of control? And everything that is times a Godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. This is the book that I went to pick up during the break. That took me the whole break to get it. It's called Conscious Leadership, and it's the key to unlocking success. The book is actually written by Chitisa Bowman and Stephen Bowman with major contribution by Gary Douglas. And I'm actually doing a call with a telecall. It's a 3-series telecall with Stephen and Chitisa Bowman, because I actually asked them if they would be willing to do it. And because I said, everyone needs to know this. Everybody needs to have this information of how to be a conscious, benevolent leader. And it's like, if you have a business, if you have a family, it's like if you have friends, whatever it is that you're doing, and it's like, you need to know how to be this. And it's like, and it's not something that's like you do from 9 to 5. And it's like, it's the way you live your life. So I asked him to do it, and Chitisa said, I'm not doing it unless you do it with us. I was like, no, you guys need to do this. And she was like, nope, I'm not doing it unless you do it. And I was like, okay. So we are doing it, and it's only 3 days. It's $300, and it's on the 16th, 17th, and 18th of December, which that's Australian time. So in the US, only 3 days. So it's
I just have to say, we just had another 3-day class with Simone of just an hour and a half per day, and it was ridiculous. I mean, I don't think I've ever changed or created so much in 90 minutes before in my life, and I have had my bars run lots. So these 3 in a row series create something that's really different to anything else that I've looked at or had before. So I'm very excited for these, and I think Chitisa was very smart in making Simone do it with them.
Well, I always love playing with them. They've been on our radio shows, so if you want to check it out, you can look at the previous radio shows with the Bowmans, and we do have one coming up with them as well, which will be lots of fun. So you get a taste of what the conscious, benevolent leader will be like. So, yeah, please join. Go to our website, accessjoyofbusiness.com, and then just go to classes and check out Classes with Simone, and all that information is up there. So there's lots happening. And, yeah, that call that we just did, the How to Become Money Workbook, How to Become Money Workbook was brilliant. It's actually a book that was channeled by Gary Douglas many years ago. It was in New York, 1996, and it was amazing. And it's like, it's literally designed to change your point of view around money. Because actually, you know what? We should do a call on that one. Like, just based on that. Let's do that. Because it was so incredible.
And this is the business of Joy of Business, is getting an idea and running with it.
Exactly. We're on Times, and we're like, yeah, let's do an On Times radio show on that, because it's a great subject. So one of the things that I just wanted to read out here that they've written in this book, the Conscious Leadership book, is being a leader, okay? This is 9 things that is so simple, and being a leader. And this is written for business, but it's not just in business. Like I said, I mean, I have a son, and it's like there's no handbook for, how to deal with a child. And Nash is brilliant. He's an amazing child, and yet a few things happened in the last few days that I was like, what do I do here? Like, and you go to judge yourself. You go to, maybe try and choose the right thing. And there is no right thing. There's no handbook. There's no handbook for business. There's no handbook for your life. There's no handbook for being a parent. There's no handbook for a relationship. So what if being a benevolent conscious leader was about your entire life, and it was the adventure of living? Are you willing to have that? Are you willing to be that? So everything that doesn't allow you to have it, let's destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyond. So hopefully I'm going to get these 9 things in here, these 9 points before we actually go up to the break. If not, of course, we'll continue after the break. So number 1 is choosing to expand. Okay, so no matter who leaders are, no matter what circumstances they find themselves in, you've always, the crucial choice that you've got to have is to choose to expand. Okay, either to expand your awareness, or ask questions. Number 2 is living in the question. Number 3 is living in 10-second increments. Number 4 is embracing ease, joy, and glory. And number 5 is letting go of form, structure, and significance. Number 6, having no fixed point of view. Number 7, willingness to receive everything without judgment. Number 8, being in total allowance for everything. And number 9, trusting the flow of the universe. So I think we'll do a radio show with the Bowmans and we'll expand on those 9 things. But it's like, if you start to function from those 9 things, it's so interesting to see how everything becomes easier as well. Because everything is a choice and everything is infinite possibility and everything is question. Nothing is the answer. So if you're functioning from answer, you're starting to contract and kill your business and kill the future possibilities. What you're looking for here is to be in constant question. It's like that space of question. And you know when you're being it. It's like when you're totally being you, and it's like there's, you don't have a point of view, and it's like you're willing to be in allowance. It's like you're asking questions, and it's like, you're willing to let go of the form, structure, and significance. You're willing to change something instantaneously. That's the energy that will create so much more in your life, living, currency flows, money, everything can show up. You can even have better sex, all of it. If you're willing to actually start receiving and functioning from this place of this space of infinite possibility. So we're off to a break and we'll be back really soon. You're with Simone Milasas and Rebecca Holst, and you're on the Joy of Business channel on Time. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back. Look forward to it.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Hi, my name is Monica and I'm the host of Co-Creating Now. Give yourself an opportunity to connect with your all-knowing higher self and manifest joy, love, and peace together every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Would your business and life like to be bigger? Would you like to have more fun with everything you do? Simone Milasas travels the world facilitating Joy of Business seminars. These classes are for you if you would like to create more money and joy, expand your business, and work smarter, not harder. Join her live or watch the online seminar from the comfort of your own home. Go to www.accessjoyofbusiness.com to register and for more information.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Hey everybody, welcome back. How does it get any better than this? So you're on Joy Business with Simone Milasas and Rebecca Holst. So what else do we want to talk about, Rebecca, with the joy of business?
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things that people are the most interested, and that has definitely picked up on their radar more over the last year, is how we actually do business and what happens in the behind the scenes and how we actually function day to day. And we actually had a meeting, one of the first meetings in a long time, it felt like, yesterday, I think it was. Was it yesterday? Which was one of the most fun times and meetings that happen. I mean, often after a long break from talking to each other regularly, the meetings can be like a bit of a slog and a bit of a, well, what happened to this? And did this get done? And what about this? And going over these different logistics. But we actually really just got together and created. And I mean, a lot of things, Simone and I definitely went through a period where we were like, great, another meeting. Can we make this 30 minutes or not ever? And that seems to have changed recently, that it's like, let's get together and see what we can create. What can we create with this? What can we create with that? What's this going to look like? Let's think about 2016. And so I wondered if that your meetings and the way that you got to interact with your team could be created more from the sense of what can we actually create together? And I wonder, Simone, how did we create this idea that creation was more fun than just having a meeting?
So one of the things that I think is sort of really prevalent and required is allowance. And what I've noticed with the Joy Business team, I mean, when you said that it was June, only 6 months ago, that we got the green light, and I thought it was last Christmas, so I was going a year, and it hasn't even been 6 months. I'm like, wow, you're right. And it's sort of like, as we've added, every time you add staff to a business as well, it sort of gets a bit, not rocky, but people sort of go, oh, what does that mean? Am I being fired? Am I not good at my job? Or, you know, will they like me? Will I like them? And they have all these hidden agendas and hidden secrets of what that, you know, could or should be like, rather than just being like, oh, okay, so, you know, a new person to play with, what can we create? And what I've noticed is, as Joy Business has expanded, because we have more and more staff, it's sort of become more in allowance of each other's idiosyncrasies and capacities, and the willingness to receive all of that, because every single person is completely different. And it's like, you have to be willing to receive what everyone's awareness is and ask. And it's like, a good leader will always ask their staff. And it's like, what's their awareness of something? You don't have to choose what they're talking about. But if you ask questions, then you receive an awareness of something beyond what you've been willing to have. And then it's like, oh yeah, that. And it's like, I mean, you know, Francesca, and it's like, she's based in Venice, Italy, and she's on our team, and she has way more awareness of Europe than what we do. And it's like, I think Rebecca is very organized. She thinks she isn't, but I think she's really organized. And it's like, you know, Emily, and it's like, she's got, you know, some of the greatest skills I've ever seen online on social media. So we're sort of creating this online marketing team too, because you'd be silly to recognize that that's not the way things are being promoted so much too. So, but what we've done too is started hiring interns, as we've mentioned on a previous show, and it's like adding to that. And I mean, Michelle, she's brilliant on creating systems, but we're taking her off doing admin because she doesn't like it anymore. And it's like, so why would you have someone doing something if they didn't like it? It's like, they're really not going to do a great job if they don't like it. So we've added someone else, Victoria, who's my personal assistant anyway, and she's started doing admin stuff, which has worked really well. So it's like, you've got to have that ability to change. And when everybody has that ability to change and the ability to question and the ability to choose, and then starts all sort of being involved in what they love doing, then that's when you can create something way bigger than you've ever imagined. Because there's this general sense of joy and a general sense of communion and a general sense of happiness. I mean, Emily's excited because she's got people helping her out now, and she doesn't feel like she's flooded under trying to do all the social media. So it's like, what else and who else can you add to your business that would create greater ease? Great question to ask every day. And everything at that is times a gazillion, right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. And I can guarantee you, if you're listening to this and you ask that question, you'll have more possibilities show up. And I also know that most of you will go to the place of doubt and go to the place of resistance and go to the place of, yeah, but how am I going to pay them? Most people do that. I can't afford to pay anyone else. I can't afford to this. I can't. You know what? You can't afford not to. Where would you like your business to be? What would you like it to be creating? How big would you like it to be out there in the world? And it's like you have to be willing to add people. You have to be willing to add systems. You have to be willing to ask those questions. And guess what? Just because you hire someone doesn't mean they have to stay there forever. It's not like a relationship. Just kidding. A relationship, you don't have to stay there forever either. Haven't you ever had a one-night stand? And it's like, what if a business deal was a 1-week stand or a 1-month stand or a 6-month stand? And it's like, you know, be grateful that that person has contributed to the business and you've contributed to them, and then maybe it's time to move on. But you've got to be willing to have this energy of this constant willingness to change. And not from a resistance and reaction or alignment and agreement, from the willingness to follow the energy. What next? What next? What next? Okay? What next? Great question. Start with it in the morning when you're in the shower. It's like, okay, what next? Who do I have to talk to today? Where do I have to be? What and who else can I add to the business that's going to create greater cash flow? That's going to create greater possibilities. And everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive it, destroy and uncreate it, right, wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond.
And, you know, what's interesting about that, I mean, like, I'm definitely a control freak, and one of the things I was like, well, why would I let questions dictate my day? I have so many things to do. And then I started, well, what kind of point of view is that, Rebecca? What does that actually create if you live your life like that every day? So I did start asking some of these questions of like, okay, so who or what requires me today, and what would I like to create today? And it's so amazing what's showing up. I don't think I've literally had a different day every single day since. I could not predict what could happen in a day, and also so much more is created in a day that it takes me a while. Like if I do choose to look at what I did create in a day, it takes me a while to actually remember everything that was created, because it was so much. I would say 2 weeks ago I had like one of those really, really crappy days where I couldn't really function or think. So I set myself on data entry and I got a whole bunch of that kind of thing done. And I got to the end of the day and I was like, okay, Rebecca, you're still feeling really shitty. So what did you actually create today? And I was like, oh yeah, I remember I created this photo book gift that I've been wanting to create for like a month. And then I did all this data entry that was never ever going to be done ever. And I got through 300 emails, and I also, you know, managed to have some fun, and I did like 3 telecalls that day. So it's like, okay, even on your worst day, how much have you actually created that you haven't acknowledged?
That's such a good point, Rebecca. I just want to pause for a second and ask that again, because
sure.
Because people, you have to do that. You have to acknowledge how much you've created every day. And it's like, have a look at it. And it's like when you think that you're not creating, when you're going into the judgment, like the expectation, the projection, the separation, rejection, any of that. And it's like, you have to be willing to claim and acknowledge your capacities and the potency you have to create, no matter what it is. Even if you've created $5 today, claim and acknowledge it. It's like, how cool are you? You just created $5. If you created 5,000, 500,000, whatever it is. You have to be willing to acknowledge what you have created. That is being a great leader as well. Being willing to lead your own life. Go on.
Sorry. Yeah, and so one of the things that I was really looking at with these questions is that eventually, and I've only actually just noticed it as in right now on this call, is when you ask those questions every single day, you get to a point in the morning where you're actually just being that. And so some days I'm like, I have this really great deadline going on for something that should be really important, but joy of business is really pulling me in this right now. And I know that it's requiring something of me. And when I actually choose to go with what is actually required of me in those moments, things are actually created in an instant. I mean, some of the things that Simone and I have looked at today, like we just asked for Tokyo graphics for classes that we're going to be doing in Japan. We started those yesterday, and now they're finished.
They're done.
Because of going from what we know is required rather than what we think we should do. And the more
And,
little
you know,
breaks, go for it, Simone.
No, you go. Go.
I was going to change it again. What I was going to say is the more that you actually go with the energies and with the requests of the universe, actually, that sounds a little esoteric, but it really does actually apply to business, then those things that do have to be done get carried along with that energy and happen almost as if by themselves anyway.
No,
Which is
that's
what
true.
I really love for those things that you wonder how they're going to ever get done.
No, but when you're willing to follow the energy and you're not setting yourself like, this is my to-do list today and I must do this morning and then I'm going to do this afternoon. If you're actually willing to follow the energy and you have, I mean, I used to write so many to-do lists and I don't write them anymore. I'll write myself on note maybe or set myself a reminder like to ring someone or do something or whatever. But it's like I literally used to every morning write a to-do list. And then what did I do the next day? I transferred the last to-do list over to the next to-do list. And it was like, this is before I was actually willing to recognize that, what if I function from awareness? Awareness is far greater. And literally when you ask questions, you empower yourself to have that awareness. And it's that simple. Hey, if you forget something, what if it wasn't meant to be done? Like we were saying about in the first segment here of this show. And it's like, what if you never procrastinated? What if you never forgot anything? What if it was just you're meant to have more information? And when it comes up, it comes up. And what if that was meant to be the time that you did it? So and following the energy, it's like, what would it look like with your business if you're following the energy, which is literally like what Rebecca's talking about, is just going, okay, so what next? And it's like, which project do I work on? Which business do I work on right now? And be willing to receive the information and choose that. And it might be 15 minutes. And then there's something else banging on your head. I mean, if you're a humanoid, you literally walk around your house or walk around the office and you've got like 10, 15, 20 things open. And it's like, I mean, I'm always like, what if you're working on the amount of projects that you had sticky notes or the amount of programs that you had open on your computer? How many people just have one program or one document open on their computer, or do you have a whole bunch? What if that was the amount of money flows and currency flows that you could receive and the amount of businesses that you had and the amount of things that you were actually capable of working on? So we're off to another break. Enjoy the ads, and we'll see you real soon. You're with Rebecca and Simone on The Joy of Business. Check it out, accessjoyofbusiness.com. Have you bought into the idea that you have to work hard for your money, that business is hard? I will share some dynamic access consciousness tools to get you out of your own way so you can create a business that actually succeeds. Join me, Simone Milasas, on The Joy of Business at 4 p.m. Mondays Eastern.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at Om Times Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. Om Times Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Here with Simone Milasas and Rebecca Holt on Om Times. And funny, Rebecca just mentioned how fast we're talking, and I think being an Australian and being the Kiwi, it's like we get excited and we just talk really fast. I have learnt when I travel to slow down, so especially when we're in Europe and we've got translators in our classes, etc. But, you know, as she said in our little Skype chat here, lucky we've got replays. You can listen to it again. So if you actually wish to listen to any of the previous, any of the previous Times radio shows, you can go to our website, accessstorybusiness.com, and go to radio shows, and you can find them all there. So lots of fun things to listen to. So listen while you do the dishes, listen while you cook, whatever it is, whatever floats your boat. And it's like...
And actually... One of the things that we've been creating for the future is we've had one of our interns create the most amazing thing where she extrapolates the information and the clearings and the notes and the ideas and the resources from these radio shows and puts them in one pretty little PDF with everything. It's like a pocket rocket of resources. And it's one of those things that I'm so excited we get to offer next year to everyone.
Yes, we do. And let's do a bit of advertising. How are we doing it? It's going to be a Joy Business VIP Club. Woohoo! Joy Business VIP Club. Why is it VIP? Just because you remember. It's that simple. We thought it was fun to call it the VIP Club. So, and you know what?
It's fun to be a VIP.
Exactly. And I also had, I had someone ages ago. It was very funny. She's like, I didn't think I could go to any of your classes because I didn't have a Joy in Business, and I thought Joy in Business was a prerequisite. No, it's not. It's like all you have to do is have blood running through your veins and be breathing. And it's like it helps if you're sitting in a class. And it's like we'll give you a whole bunch of tools and processes to lighten your life up and create it to be more of an adventure. So, and in saying that, what Rebecca and I have actually got classes on. She's doing the Joy of Business 101, which is Business Done Different. It's what it's called. And it's on the 11th of December. That is Australian time. So in the US, it would be the 10th. And I've got Joy Business 102, which is the Adventure of Business and Living. You have to have done the 101 to do the 102. And that's on the 12th and the 13th in Australian time. So 11th and 12th in the US. Now, why am I giving you the times if you're in the US? Well, guess what? You can jump on live stream. And it's like you can jump on live stream from anywhere in the world. So you can sign up to those classes. You can lie in your bed and watch us on your TV or sit on your couch or take us to a park. And it's like, and we will send you manuals. You'll have all of that information and you can ask questions. We have the ability to Skype in questions, etc. And we'll talk to you live on the class. So lots of fun with that. So Joy Business 101 and 102 with both Rebecca and myself coming in December. Or jump on a plane and come to Queensland, Australia. It's summer. It's beautiful here.
I'm personally in New Zealand right now in Christchurch, and I thought it was 5 o'clock at 2 o'clock because I was like, great, I can have a drink, and it's dark, and I'll go and enjoy myself and sit by the fire, and I was like, it's 2 o'clock right now. I could do create so much more in my day. And I was like, and then Simone sent us through on WhatsApp a bunch of really beautiful pictures on the beach showing, oh my gosh, look how beautiful it is here. And I was like, I am so grateful I was smart enough to choose to have a good long time in Australia and also be facilitating a class there with these Joy Business classes. It is truly paradise.
It is. And it's one of those places that I always hear people saying, oh, one day I'll go, you know, oh, yes, I've always wanted to go to Australia. But what if you came over for Joy Business classes, you know? Just made the choice. What if choosing something for you? Exactly. But what if choosing something for you was that easy? Like, that's literally what you've got to start looking at. And it's like, what would you like to choose? I mean, I even remember when I was $187,000 in debt, right? When I first met Gary Douglas. And my dad was my accountant at the time, and I remember I said to him, I really want to go to San Francisco and go to this business class that this man is doing, Gary Douglas, you know, Access Consciousness, and he's like, okay, you know, he knew my exact, you know, financial situation. I was so in debt. And my father, he's passed away now for a few years. He's so sweet and so lovely and so kind. And he looked at me and he said, well, Simone, he said, I think you have to go. I think you have to figure out if this is actually what you wish to do. It's probably going to cost you like another $10,000, like to get in, you know, another $10,000 in debt by the time you got flights, accommodation, class, etc. He said, but I think you have to do it. And I was so grateful that I wasn't waiting for his permission to do it. And yet his willingness to look at me and go, don't worry about the debt. Don't worry about the money. You have to choose what's actually going to work for your life. You have to choose what's going to create your future. Now, if that was a different situation and I hadn't gone, because that changed my entire life. I remember sitting in the front row and everything Gary was talking about, I was like, oh, this is brilliant. And I was so grateful. And it empowered me to know that everything that I already knew about business was not wrong. And it was like he just had more information as well. So then I started to sort of implement the tools and go from there. Now, if I had had my father, who was my accountant, say to me, you can't do that until you actually pay off all your debts and then you have to go for the thing, or, you know, you have to take responsibility, or blah, 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 like any of those lines that come out that you might find yourself telling yourself that are so based on this reality and not based on choice and not based on creating your future, then the world, I'm going to say it, would probably look really different. Because my contribution to Access has been massive. And it's like I've been the worldwide coordinator for 14 years. When I first came along, I think we were in like 3 or 4 countries, and that was it. And I've worked so much and worked hard at it and been such a contribution that it would have grown, but it might not have grown as fast if I wasn't around. And so creating my future was also creating the future for the planet, to create consciousness on the planet, it matched the energy of what I wanted to create. I mean, I had a business at that time called Good Vibes for You, which was all about empowering people to, you know, choose something different, except it didn't have the tools that Access had. I just had the awareness that I desired the world to be different. And it matched the energy of going to this Access Consciousness class. So I was like, okay, cool, let's go. $187,000 in debt. What's another $10,000? And funnily enough, the book that Gary Douglas and Dan Heer wrote, not How to Become Money, that Money Isn't the Problem, You Are, is the book that got me out of debt. I read that book and I used those tools in that book and it changed everything for me. So if I hadn't chosen that, what would my life look like? And it's like, so one of the tools that we use in Access is if you ask a question and say, okay, so if I choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years' time? It's like, would you have more or less? Does it make you feel lighter or not? And it's like, if I don't choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years' time? So it's a great tool to use for anything that you're looking at, because if you try and make it logical, it's not logical. You'll only sort of start to lock yourself up with all the thinking that you do. And one of the things we talk about is if you're thinking, you're thinking. Okay? So what would you like to choose? What would you like to create for your future? What choices could you make today that create the future you know is possible? And everything that doesn't allow it to show up, destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyond. So we've got a few minutes left here, Miss Rebecca. And it's like, what are the tools would we like to give people, or what are the questions do you have, or questions, anything?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I was looking at was, like, creating and working like this in business is a practice. It isn't something that you do straight away every day. However, it is a little bit like magic because it feels like all of a sudden it happens. So I wondered, Simone, what tools could we share or really emphasize that they could start playing with as like a home play from this radio show that could give them a taste of what creating a business with the joy of business, or what conscious benevolent leadership or the green light could be like for them.
I love that. The green light theory. So it's like, what could you
do? It really is a big thing.
Well, what if you just added some of these tools and you went, okay, so if I gave my staff the green light this week, what would that look like? Well, you have to be willing to be out of control. Yeah, with one project. And it's like, try it for 1 week and see if your life gets easier. Because you know what? If you're stressed at work or you're stressed with your business, then why are you doing it? And it's like, you know, what change could you create? And it's like, what ease could you have? And it's like, okay, is anyone going to do it the same as you? Absolutely not. Nobody does anything the same. So you have to be willing for it to look different. Okay? You have to be willing for it to look different, and you have to be willing to receive that and not try and, you know, control it, and not try and, get in there and micromanage. And it's like you have to be willing for people to choose what they want to choose that's actually going to expand the business and expand their life. And it's like allow them to have that choice. And what if just for 1 week you had no fixed point of view? So every point of view you have, there's a tool. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Okay? So that's the tool that I want to leave you with this week too. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. If you get frustrated, you get angry, you go to lack, you go to scarcity, any of that sort of stuff, just say, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Okay? No matter what it is. And it's like, if you're in a situation, go to the bathroom. If you're negotiating in a meeting or you're with your husband or wife or kids or whatever, go to the bathroom and stand in the bathroom and say, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. If I didn't have this point of view, what would I choose? Because it's like none of it is real. Judgment's not real. Your point of view is not real. And especially a fixed point of view. You have a fixed point of view, you're going to lock yourself up big time. And that's not what life is about. Life is about the adventure of it. Life is about having loads and loads of fun. Are you having any? What if your business could be joyful? So that's the name of the show this week. So I really want to thank you, Rebecca, so much for coming on. And our spontaneous, I was feeling good. You want to do a pre-record on time show, Rebecca? So I'm so glad to have you around in New Zealand.
It was so fun.
On a good time zone. And thank you for being the amazing being you are. And it's like everything that you contribute. And it's like to the world, to Joy Business, to access to, expanding what we both know is possible. And it's like, so I highly recommend getting the book, The Place. And it's like, if you go to Joy Business Facebook page, it's like, come play with us, join up, and we'll put a link on to buy The Place, so that you can find it, or you can get it on Amazon, actually. Amazon, The Place by Gary Major Douglas. Okay? Check it out. Start choosing for you, creating for your future, which your future is, guess what? This is the trick. It's now. All right. Thanks for joining
everyone.
us. Love you guys.